Like one French is enough, right? But now you got two more of y'all. Oh, because 3 of y'all running around here. High school was crazy. So I went to Edison Tech High School, class of 01. I'm also the founder and president of the Edison Tech Alumni Association. Anyone here close to Edison? You go to Edison? You just graduated. Congratulations, alumni. That's 25? I'm sorry I couldn't be there. I was at a funeral, so I couldn't be there to help celebration. But James Scott was there. He's also part of the Alumni Association. He's a co-founder as well. There's other few alumni. Dr. Cohen, he's an alumni. Class of 87 and a few others. Ms. Phillips is an alumni. Remember Ms. Phillips? Mr. Humphrey, but Ms. Phillips, her office is downstairs in the basement. She's an administrator. And you have a few others, right? Mrs. Murray, floating around here. But we have over 4,200 alumni dating back in 1947 that's currently connected. So we have a lot of people in very powerful places.
Underneath your back. Put your phone underneath your back.
Okay? If I can't help you, someone else will.
Thank you.
Okay? Gerald Moore, who runs this program, is also at Tech alumni. See how that works? But I grew up in foster care, right? And I grew up on the northeast side of Hudson Avenue. You want to watch the show First 48? First 48? You watched it? You watched it from the very beginning? Like season 1?
I only watched it. I've seen it before. I don't watch it.
You know Rochester was on there, right?
Yeah.
So that's where we grew up. And Alphon Street, historically, even today, has been notorious for gun violence. And I just grew up right there on St. Jacob Street. So St. Jacob, Bernard, Alphon. Like literally, when you say you run to the corner store, you got me a can or whatever, like we had to run to the corner store. It's probably not like a track star. I'm slow in it, but you know, like we had to literally run to the store. You know, a single parent household. Right? And I'm sharing these things because I'm sure some of you might identify with these things, right? You don't understand why I'm telling you these things, and my presentation has to do with my identity. Right? But with a single parent household, a single mom raising 11 kids by herself, right? Growing up on the northeast side, you start falling into those traps. Start looking outside yourself for external validation. Never really having anyone tell you that you don't need to fit in, nor should you try. Right? Someone said that you don't need to fit in, nor should you try. Someone say you don't need to fit in.
You don't need to fit in.
You say,
It's
like call and response. Culturally, we do this thing like call and response, right? If you went to church, you might do that too, right? But again, call and response, you don't need to fit in.
You don't need to fit in.
Nor should you try.
Nor should you try.
You kind of get it, but sometimes you have to hear a certain way, right? That me trying to get square peg, trying to fit into a round hole, I was hurting myself, right? Not knowing that that same square had the same 360 degrees as a circle, right? There's a song that I heard when I was growing up. It was kind of corny, right? But I guess it became corny. That it's hip to be square. It was by like Hugh in the News or something like that. He would say it's hip to be square. That to be a square trying to fit into a round hole, you're gonna hurt yourself. Just be yourself, right? Understand that in time, your gifts make room for you in space and place where you can be yourself, unapologetically, intentionally you, right? And so, very fortunate enough, right? I ended up finding myself in trouble, going in and out of jail, in and out of jail, in and out of jail, just doing dumb stuff. Again, looking outside myself for external validation, right? Like now do I fit in? Now do you love me? Like growing up in foster care, right? Being quote unquote abandoned or dismissed or no one loves you kind of thing. But there's more to that. There's more to that, right? But either way, I had mentors pouring into me. I was very fortunate, even though I found myself in and out of trouble, right? I had mentors pouring into me, right? Seeing more of me at the time than I saw myself, right? And then in time, my gifts did make me free. At 12 years old, I wanted to be an educator. At 12, I knew then. Many of you have an idea of who you want to become. Some of you don't, and that's fine. There's no shade here, right? But at 12, I knew I wanted to be a teacher because a teacher of mine in the 6th grade created an opportunity for me, right? And that's what it is, about creating opportunity for each other. This right here is an opportunity. Many of you are probably doing this and want to do nothing with STEM at all. Right? When I went to Edison Tech, I majored in CAD, computer-aided design and automated technology. Am I an engineer? Absolutely not. Am I using any of that? Absolutely not. Maybe, possibly, I don't know. Maybe understanding the process of how to do things, right? Using that in my daily work, or that everything takes a process and that you need to do this before you can do this. And sometimes like 10 things to do that one thing, maybe, I don't know. Maybe I learned that, but actually like designing things on a computer, nah. Not doing that. Right? But that's fine. Right? Because in doing so, it created other opportunities. Right? You just heard me talk about the alumni network for Edison Tech. Right? Because of my love for Edison, I was able to create that and bring people together, and now I have this network for both my benefit and all those else that went to Edison Tech. And then by virtue, because of their gifts and talents, what they do now for the community, right? Because of this shared purpose, this shared vision, right? Of creating opportunity for young black boys and just people that look like you and I in Rochester, right? So at 16 though, I found myself in Democratic Chronicle for third-degree burglary charge. Isn't that wild? At 16 years old, I was the only minor in that paper. I have it hanging on my wall now, right? But due to the advocacy of the Public Defender's Office, it allowed me to spiral up and out those situations to then realize my dream of becoming an educator, to cut my teeth in New York City, Brooklyn, and the Bronx, right? Serving as a building sub, an assistant dean, a dean, and then come back home and actually working in 14621 at School 8. Anyone went to School 8 before? Who went to School 8 here? No? Anyone know anyone that went to School 8? Yeah? You went to School 8?
My little brother did.
When did you go?
Like a year ago.
Like a year ago, okay. I was already gone before then, but did you go from K all the way up?
Mm-hmm.
No. When did you start going there?
Like, he only went there for like a year.
For like a year? Okay, that's cool. But yeah, working in my neighborhood, 14621, how crazy is that? Right? It's crazy. In this book called Walden by Thomas Thoreau, he goes, don't be simply good, but good for something. What does that mean to you? Don't be simply good, but good for something. What does that mean? I'm gonna give you a minute to think about it. What does that mean? Don't be simply good, but be good for something. What does that mean to you? And there's no right or wrong answers here. I just want to know what your thinking is. Don't be simply good, but be good for something. What does that mean? You can go ahead and call out, just the conversation here. What does that mean? Don't be simply good, but be good for something.
Oh, don't just be good and average, but be good at, something you love. Like, it's something you consider yourself doing.
Okay. Anyone else? There's no right or wrong answer here. It's just what you think. You can go ahead and call out. What does that mean to you? Don't be simply good, but good for something.
It can be like have a reason to be good.
Okay.
And not just be good to fit in.
Anyone else? Yes.
I would say let your goodness be useful.
What does that mean? You want to flesh it out real quick?
Being good is kind of like, you're not doing anything wrong, but what's the point of being good if you don't expand or show your goodness, or there's evidence behind your goodness?
Mm-hmm. Anyone else? Be bold, be brave. There's no wrong answer here. And I want to also kind of preface this as I start to get into this lesson here real quickly. It's important to take every opportunity to let your voice be heard. Right? I think oftentimes we have platforms that are created. Right? I'm all about student voice and young voice, and holding space and lifting voice up. I'm an educator by profession. Right? And I'm sure you can understand that too. You can understand that too, Ms. Edwards. Right? It's important to lift voices up because for so long in my generation, it was told what about young kids?
You're not supposed to speak. You're supposed to be seen and not heard.
They only speak when spoken to, right? But I'm also come from a space where out of the mouth of babes speaks truth. Anyone ever heard that before? Out of the mouth of babes? No? Well, that would be the first time you hear that. I hope it's not the last. But out of the mouth of babes speaks truth and wisdom. And I can't tell you how many times I have to stop and listen to my 10-year-old son, or my 6-year-old daughter, or my 5-year-old son. One time my son sitting there eating food, I'm just having a good time listening to music, and he goes, make sure you pay attention to Carrie. Make sure you pay attention to Carson. This is Carson talking about himself. Make sure you pay attention to Carson. He goes, Daddy. I said, what's up, Carson? You good? Yep. Just make sure you pay attention to Carson. Why would he say that by himself? That's wild. And I do pay attention to him, but I think he needed to remind me in that moment. Mm-hmm. And if I told him, but see, he had enough courage. And honestly, I created that space for him to talk, right, and share that, because he would have not said that. He would have not shared that. And each of my kids, both Carson, Karis, and Carrick, right, have had those moments with me where they have spoken life even into me. here's my job to raise them and feed them and keep them alive. And here they also are now pouring back into me in their young souls. So I'm saying that to say that you have value in this space. Even if your parents are my age, 40-something, whatever, you have a voice. So use that opportunity at any given chance to speak up. So again, I say to you, what does it mean when we say, don't be simply good, but good for something? I need 2 more volunteers as I figure out this HDMI situation.
It's not plugged in.
Way to troubleshoot, my guy. Hey, there we go. Because I'm like, man, I'm hearing Jamila. Maybe you should come in beforehand.
Well, you wouldn't have been able to fix that.
Nah, I probably would have, but because the circumstances would have been different. You know what I mean? So maybe I would have. I don't know.
The lights?
Yeah, you could. That's fine. Or is it both on or just one was on? No,
It's either the small lights or
you
the
can
big lights.
you can do like that's cool. One more volunteer then. Do not be simply good. Let's break it down. Let's chunk it. When you're good at something, what does that mean? When you're good at something,
You know how to do it well.
do well.
Take effort into putting yourself through it.
You put effort to put yourself through it.
You got opportunities.
You get opportunity. Who's good at basketball? Or, I mean, even if you don't think so, be honest. If you think you're good, you're not great, right? But you're good, right? You're good at it, right? Come on now. You're supposed to always bet on yourself. Even if you're like the bummest person in the room. Yo, I'm the best, bro. Like, yo, I throw airballs all day, but I do that well, right? And you just keep practicing the right techniques and you get better at that. You too, right? What does it mean to be good for something?
Like good at one thing.
Good at one thing, but to be good for something. What does
Do
that
it for someone, or like when somebody say, do it for something. Like,
I don't know what job it is.
yeah, like a lot of people that's in like a relationship and say you're not good for nothing. So being good for something, like you're somebody that can be in a gap for people, and and be a great person for those around you. Being good for something, being a shoulder to lean on, being a big brother to people, being a great son, being someone in the community that's doing great things. That's being good for something, like, being in position.
You had your hand raised? Okay. I feel like this is a class. Like, and I was stretching Mr. French. I was stretching. I'm not gonna even like validate everything you said. You can validate yourself in that, right? Thank you for all the volunteers. Thank you for all the volunteers that are gonna be volunteering later as we continue this conversation. All those things that you said are true in their own respects, right? But one thing I want to harp on about when someone says to you that you're good for nothing, right? Is that true?
No.
It stings when people say it though, but is that true? Right? Is that true? Like if there's a nail in the wall, right, and I have a screwdriver though, right? Is that gonna help me in that situation?
No.
That screwdriver is good for nothing in this situation, right? But does that screwdriver still have a purpose?
Yes.
It does. And if I truly understood that screwdriver, I could probably flip it up backwards and use the handle, if it has weight to it, and knock that nail in, depending on how big that nail is. If it's a small tack or something like that, I can still use it to hammer something, right? But it's still not the purpose for it. But in the correct situation, that screwdriver might save the person's life, right? Yes, we need the hammer. That's more purposeful. But that screwdriver could be purposeful if you know how to utilize it. That's why it's important to be in spaces and places, right, where opportunities could then be brought out of us and be able to expound on our purpose and our superpower, whatever that thing is, right? I could talk about this all day, but I'm trying to segue to this, and I'm going to do that right now. Use this opportunity to segue because this is about purpose. So one of the things, if you can see this, can everyone see this screen okay? Yeah, I know it's not 100%, and we're going to be moving around, we'll be getting up a little bit, so you won't be, this is not a sit and get, where I'm just talking at you. I don't like that. I never did that in the classroom when I was in the classroom, both at Edison Tech or at School 8 or in Pittsburgh schools as the first Black level administrator, or in New York City or the Bronx. Right? I'm all about total participation and getting people up. Right? And so you'll be moving around at some point here. Okay? But also I don't like talking at students or talking to students or young people. I like talking with. Right? And so like I said, the fact that my son could tell me, make sure you pay attention to Carson, Dad. Right? Is because I talk with him. He knows that he can say anything he wants to me. Sometimes I gotta remind him to check his tone, right? Because he's my son, so I know he gets it from me. So I try not to get too frustrated with him because I know if I get frustrated with him, it's something that I did when I was young. So when my son or child, my children do something and I get agitated, it's because like I have to pause, like, you know what, this is agitating me. I probably did that same thing when I was their age. Let me show some grace. And then they see that. Right? So, having grace for self and others, yes sir. This is your space. So this concept I came up with is called trust and believe. Anyone ever heard it before? Trust and believe. Anyone heard that phrase before? Yo, trust and believe, bro. Anyone heard it before? Trust and believe? Trust and believe? Trust and believe? You might have heard that phrase before. Yo, trust and believe. X, Y, Z. Where are you? Trust and believe. Right? But building on that, know and do. Know and do. And we're going to be expounding and kind of breaking that down for me, what this means in this kind of mantra or this credo that I've developed about trust and believe, know and do. Right? So this is a framework, again, for intentional living. Obviously, I'm the presenter, Vincent French. Again, you'll get my information later. You can Google me, look me up. You have my contact information. Right? It's all about networking. Right? It's not who you know, but who knows you. Understand? It's not who you know, but who knows you. And being more intentional with networking. And many of you already are networking as it is, but you probably don't know that. Right? But now that you know, you can start utilizing those networks for more intentionality. Right? And this is going to help you do that. Right? Being more intentional with our words. Right? Being more intentional in how we trust and how we believe and what we understand and how we actually implement that understanding in doing and taking action. Being more intentional with our actions. Right? So, again, for me, what does trust stand for? Someone read trust out for me real loud. I can see the board. What does trust mean? Yeah.
Start by trusting yourself, your instincts, and your gifts.
Let me hear gifts make room for you, right? Trust that your gifts make room for you. Let me hear believe. Get your
Believing in your purpose or something greater.
No, you gotta say it. You gotta say it like when I want people in the hotel. Like,
Believe in your purpose and something greater.
mm-hmm. Believe in your purpose. Right? Remember I was telling you that you're good for nothing, right? No. We have purpose. Believe in your purpose. Right? Believe in your purpose and something greater. What do I mean by something greater? What does that mean to you?
Bigger picture.
Bigger picture. Right? It could be a faith. It could be the movement that you're doing, that thing that you're doing, the movement, the bigger picture. It could be the universe, God, whomever. Right? Something greater than yourself. Right? Let me hear about know. What does know mean?
You know, study, reflect, and know what you see.
Study. Right? This is how you build that knowledge. There was a quote that I heard one time that says, "Study to show thyself approved, a workman that needeth not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth." If anyone went to church, you would have heard that in the Bible. Not to preach to you right now, right? Because I know there's different faiths in this room. I'm going to be mindful of that. But there is something to take from that. You study. Then you reflect on that. You reflect on the studying that you've done, the things that you, the meaning that you make, right? As you reflect on that, you even journal about it. Right? So we'll be doing some writing a little bit later, right? Let me hear do. What does do mean?
Move, take action, live it out.
Take action, live it out. Are we living it out just by just happenstance, just moving around? How are we living it out?
Giving it our all.
Giving your all. What else? Okay, someone else over here? What does it mean to live it out? What does that mean? Take action, live it out. What does that mean?
Enjoy it.
Enjoy it?
I feel like it's the hard work that's paying off.
The hard work that pays off. What else? Remember, intentionality. Right? Living on purpose. Living in your purpose. Walking in your purpose. You hear all these things. These aren't new to you. What I'm trying to do is codify what you already know. Bringing all these things that are everywhere into this kind of framework. Right? And this is just me. And this is my definition. This is how I am. Right? This is how I perceive it based on my current walk. It might change. And you're going to be looking at these four words, or these four pillars, or these four principles, and you're going to be now adding it to your own life by doing a quick reflection. And what you do today might look different tomorrow as you continue to reflect on it, as you continue to refine it and shape this concept of this framework to your own life. Right? You might even develop your own framework. You might think, this is great, but I can build better. By all means, please do so. But what I'm trying to do is challenge each of you to think differently, to think more intentionally. And then in thinking, you're going to be able to then put it to action, right? And many of you are doing it, but for what purpose? Right, for what purpose? And that's a rhetorical question. I don't need you to answer that, but I need you to kind of think about that. What am I doing now? Who's benefiting from it? Right, how can I build on it? Who can I reach out to help amplify my way? Right? Again, this is not a slogan, but again, a lifestyle. It's a sequence, it's a system, it's a way forward. Right? We always need something to keep us in line in order to help us move forward. Right? Like Nike has one. What's that slogan that they use? It's really not just a slogan though. Right? It's a way forward. When you feeling tired, what do you remind yourself with Nike? It's the you look down in the shoes, sometimes it says it on your shoes, right? You might have little flashy bands that have like little tracker systems in it so you can keep your steps in. Right? If you go to the outlet, they usually have those there a lot. But again, this is the way forward. And again, why does this matter? In a world full of distractions, and I think it's more powerful for student voice. If I get a student voice to read this, please. Why does this matter? Be bold, be brave. What?
And in a world full of distractions, TBKD brings clarity. It centers your power on discipline, faith, and knowledge. It gives you a rhythm for living with a purpose. You don't just get to say who you are, you have to do who you are.
What does it say? The last part there, you have to
do who you are.
What does that mean? I know it reads weird, but what does that mean? Ask me.
You have to do what you're called to do. Find the calling and live it out.
Where did you get calling? Right? I never mentioned that word. He said calling. Walk in your calling. Right? I don't want to hear. What'd you say?
He said, do what you're called to do.
Do what you are called to do. Does everyone have one of these? Does everyone have a handout? Who want to get a handout? Everyone got a handout? What does that mean? It says calling.
You want me to explain?
Yeah, sure.
I believe that your calling is something that you were born with. Sometimes you can be called to something different as you grow in life and usefulness. Like you can grow into something new, and you're always everybody has their own calling. Not everybody's like the same. Some people call them shows at different times in life. Like you wouldn't understand that you could do something until you did it. Like that was your calling. Like you could be an athlete. That could be your calling. It may not be everybody else's calling. You could be a musician. That could be your calling. I mean, you could be an entrepreneur, and that could be your calling. It's a lot of different things that you just have to seek and understand, like yourself. And you got to find that gap.
So before I started this job, we're going to publish this. I am not an attorney. What am I doing work with attorneys? By show of hands or someone call out, I kind of mention it. What is my skill set? I'm a teacher. I'm an educator. What am I doing work with attorneys? What am I doing meeting with Adam Bella at any given call, at any given time? Who's the politician? Or the mayor? Or the senators? Or all the city members in the county here? What am I doing in these spaces? What am I doing in these spaces?
You're
walking in my call.
Walking in your calling.
Right? Your gifts make room for you. Is what I'm trying to get back to, right? Your gifts will make room for you. Trust in your ability, trust in your gift. Now, fun fact, I didn't apply for this job. I was in Pittsburgh, working in Pittsburgh as the first black district level administrator in the 80-year history of Pittsburgh, where schools are 10 out of 10. Ooh. And I had to, it's a race up in Pittsburgh, my God, but the work was still there until Monroe County called for a job that I didn't apply for. So you have to answer the call. You have to walk in your calling, right? Your gifts will make room for you. And so I had to say, yeah, because this is where I come from. This is where I come from. Yeah, I know it's Monroe County, but This is the city that gave me so much. Right? So it's important that I pour back into this space and place. Never curse the ground you come from, no matter how stony. Right? Never curse the ground you, let me hear that real quick. Never curse the ground you come from, no matter how stony. Never curse the ground you come from, no matter how stony. For me, what that means is, and again, I want you to stop that in your own moments of reflection, but for me, what does that mean? It means that where you come from, right? Never curse the ground you come from, no matter how hard it is. You are at where you're at, even if where you're at feels like hell. Because the purest gold goes through the hottest fire. Did y'all know that? The purest gold goes through the hottest fire. And so when you're in those spaces, when I'm going on the northeast side in violence and crime and all this other stuff around the criminal element, I was made to go through that. I was made to go in and out of jail. And only be able to stay here today without having any criminal background. Without having any misdemeanors or felonies. Even though I know when he did that. I did that stuff. Yeah, I definitely did. And I own it. Because in that time, it's like there's always a righteous reason for sin. I think Jay-Z said that. There's always a righteous reason for sin. I think even Biggie Smalls in that song Juicy, right? Where he says he was just trying to sell drugs to feed his daughter. We know it's wrong. But in that moment, that's the only thing I got. Right? And oftentimes it's due to a lack of opportunity that we find ourselves in those spaces. And so that's why you have individuals like Gerald Moore creating opportunity, right? Showing you a way forward, right? Let's move on. So in front of you, you have a worksheet. You can put your name on it. This is, again, just to kind of capture your notes for the day, right? And then on the back, if you want to capture some things that I'm saying, I know, like, as far as some of the quotes where I said, like, never curse the ground you come from in the house. So that's not really part of the actual, like, PowerPoint presentation. That's just something that I'm just sharing with you, right? That I'm hoping that you can glean from and apply it to your own life, right? But you have to do who you are, right? Who you are in any space and place you're in has to be 100%, right? Who I am here is who I try to be at home. Right? Who I'm at home is I try to be this way in my professional life. Any space and place I'm in. Right? So you're gonna get a Vincent at home, the same Vincent as much as possible in the professional setting. I mean, not the whole Vincent. Not just up here grabbing people and they're not my kids, but I try to be consistent in my personal life and in my private life. I mean, in my private life and also my professional life. I try to be consistent in those spaces. I try to make sure that what I'm saying, that I can back it up in any space. Like, I heard he can tell me this in secret. And if someone challenges me on it, I can stand by and like, absolutely. I said that 100%, 10 toes down. I'm not gonna sit here, but I didn't say that. Yep, I said it. Right, and that's hard. It's hard to find that balance. It's hard to be the same person, but that's who you have to be, and that's the work. That's the work, right? Because you entertain angels unaware. People are watching you. Right? Even right now, there are people that you look up to, that are older than you, that are even younger than you, that are doing things that you're not doing. They're even your peers at school. Right? I like what this kid is doing. I like what this girl is doing. I like so-and-so. I like how I want to be like that. I want to be better than that, obviously, right? But like, I want to do something like that. And you can. But that's why you also have to speak up too, though. And that's why also sometimes too, you might have to create your own opportunity. I got a young man right now, and you just graduated from class 2025, so you know Ryan's. Is that football camp? Mark, yeah, you know. Yeah, because your mom helped support him too. One of our alumni is his second year doing that. He was an 11th grade student, and he runs, he's a senior, he graduated now, but this is his second year doing it. Where he created his own football camp at Edison, Texas. You see how when you tap yourself into the spaces that you're already part of, how they can help lift you up and help accentuate your voice and help elevate your voice in that space? Now he's an alumni. He's definitely going to be supported now. People that are not even attached to the school, like physically. Right now, it's Dr. Cohen who works at the school and some coaches and stuff, but now he has access to people that's outside of that spectrum now, that are in the communities now. He's probably going to take his camp worldwide. It's crazy. Right? Real quick, I want you to look at this picture real quick. Alright? Take a moment to look at this picture. If you can see it, if you can't, you can kind of adjust yourself to see it real quick. Just come off the wall, or just one of those. Okay. So look at this picture. You don't have to write this down, right? But what does this photo say about me? I'm Mr. French. How does this align or not with how he may actually show up in real life?
Can they see?
Yeah.
You're a mean Jason.
And again, be true. I mean, if it looks funny to you, if I look weird, that's fine too. Again, I taught 7th and 8th grade, so you always had jokes. Right? You don't get our life alive. So if I can bring humor to someone's life, I'll fall on every banana peel just to bring joy. Because life is hard. But what is this photo? Looking at this photo, what does this photo say about me? Right? How does this align with how I may actually show up in real life?
Yo, shut up.
Yep.
I'll probably say you look very professional
Okay.
and probably a certain environment. So I'll probably say you know how to dress for every occasion.
Okay.
Look like you should be yourself.
Okay. Anyone else? Again, the wrong answer. This is all about. This is called perception right now. Right? We're looking at the power of perception. Right? How someone perceives you. Right? How someone perceives you. What else? Someone over here. What does this photo say about me? And or how does this align with how he may actually show up in real life? So it's also perception, but then also intentionality is what I'm looking at. How do you perceive me? But also, what does this say about my intentionality? You can come on volunteer for this. Yes.
Like, if I was like on phone and I seen this, I'd say like kind of silly. I don't know.
What do you mean by silly? I don't know. Say more.
Like silly, like the picture, like you teaching, like you a teacher,
Mhm.
like what a teacher would do. So I say you like you fun to like be around, fun to like learn with, and just cool in the environment, kind of cool too.
I appreciate
That's
that.
what I like see.
Copy that. Copy that. Anyone else? Yes.
It looked like you like coffee.
So I like coffee.
Like you're in a setting where it would be like a professional setting where there's like coffee and it gives you like a certain look, like your esteem is high because of the way you look in the photo. It looks very straightforward, demeanor, very professional.
So when I
She comes with coffee in the morning.
Yeah. And it's blurred out. This wasn't even coffee in the morning. The normal picture I blurred out the background, but I had to do some enhancements to like make it pop a little bit more. But you can actually see the clock, and this clock says it's 2 o'clock. It's 2 p.m. Thanks. So I'm not just drinking coffee in the morning, but I'm drinking coffee throughout. Actually, I had a cup before I came here today to make sure I was on fire, right? Right. But this is all intentional, right? This is me posing. I'm trying to look like I'm trying to make it look like it's a candid photo, like off guard. You know, I'm not really posing, but I am posing. This is all intentional. Me holding this cup, ain't nothing in this cup of coffee. This is an empty cup, right? So you kind of think about what message I'm sending, holding this cup of coffee, why I hold it like this, the way I'm holding the logo right there. All this is intentional. This is a manufactured picture. I took this picture, I made this picture look like this. And maybe you do that too. Where you're there, you're taking those photos, you're looking down at someone taking a picture of you. Right? I don't know. Real side note, why y'all take photos as a younger generation? Why y'all take photos but don't look at the camera? Like you might be looking down or you're doing this. What does that mean? What does that? Because when I look at it, I don't know who, unless I see the name, I will never know. Is that the purpose?
Yeah, that's the style. That's that style.
Okay, I'm not knocking it, I just want to know.
That drip.
If you got one in the middle, like you got like a good hairstyle.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Or it's just
So that's the intention. Check out my drip.
yeah.
Right? See how I'm posing, see how I walk, see how I move. Don't really look at me per se, but just see what I do. Good. I didn't know that. Thank you for telling me that. Again, why is perception important? How someone perceives you. Why is that important?
They can see how you act.
You see how you act,
See how you present yourself.
how you present yourself. Yep.
It shows your character.
It shows character. But y'all can call out. There's no right or wrong answer here. What else?
It shows your personality.
Personality. Why is perception important? So it's your character, your personality.
Defines the human.
Say one time.
Human.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Defines the human.
Oh, my humor, yes. Depending on what you're doing, right? Show your personality, aspects of your personality, that you're humorous, that you can be serious when needs to be, but you're not always on. Sometimes, there's a season for everything, right? I'm sure you heard that, right? It ain't always sunny, right? Sometimes it calls for rain, right? Sometimes it calls for cold weather, right? Sometimes it calls for the fall. Sometimes it calls for a reset. Yes, sir.
Do you think perception could be like a step to opportunity? Perception could be.
Are you asking that of me or are you asking that of them?
No, it's like well, really for anyone. Like, can perception be something where it could lead to? It could be that one thing that people look at for the next opportunity.
Yeah.
Absolutely think so.
And you see it happen all the time, right? You see it happen with your favorite celebrity, your favorite sports figure, right? Perception is everything. You see it all around you. You see it all around you, right? You might see your favorite athlete, like, they're taking me on the field and they're looking up. What's the perception that they're trying to tell you? That this athlete's what? If they're there like this, going like this and looking up, what's the perception there? What's the perception? How do you perceive this guy? They're what? Speak up, I can't hear you, the hum. What is it? Yeah. You get a pen? You never got one? What's the perception? You have your favorite athlete taking a knee on the field. What's the perception?
He got injuries.
That he as well? He probably got injured. He's looking up at the sky, so he's probably a person of faith.
Probably praying, yeah.
He's probably praying, right? He's probably holding a thing, doing like this, looking up, holding his rosary or whatever, or his cross on his neck, or he's there taking a knee, looking down. Right? He's probably praying. Right? You see a lot of athletes do that. You probably see boxers do that.
Probably.
He's probably ready for the game.
Right, for the game, yeah.
Or somebody like singing a song,
Are you singing a song?
a American song.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Wait, what is he doing again?
Whatever, I'm just giving you examples. The person down on knee praying, or he's looking down, or he's looking up at the sky, right? What's the perception? How do you perceive this person that's doing it? What's your perception of him? When they're doing that thing, what's the perception?
He's probably tired.
He's a man of God.
And God's probably taking it rest.
No, I'll take it.
Take a knee, brother. Right? Take a knee and rest. Huh?
Orphan?
One time.
Orphan?
What is that?
That's like defined. That's like.
It's his new generation.
I feel all of these guys in one fell swoop. How old are you? 43? Shoot, we might as well be 80, right? Now, what does that mean? Expound on that. Say it.
I'm like trying to be cool.
Yeah.
You said it's called chloroforming?
No, orphan.
I'm not trying to fake you, man. I'm just trying to. You said aura?
Aura farming.
Far.
Farming.
Yeah.
Like
He's
farming.
trying to get camera time. Like,
Oh,
trying to get
okay.
cameras to come
Aura
see
farming.
him.
Okay. See,
Word.
hey, I'm out here learning new words. I'm out here learning new words. You probably
He's still trying to find one. We're trying to push up.
Alright, so we're gonna get to this worksheet real quickly. I want to kind of give you an example of what I mean when I say these things about start by trusting myself and my instincts and my gift, believing in my purpose and something greater than me. Study, reflect, and know that what I stand on. It's important to be 10 toes down on everything that you believe in. It might change, but in that moment, I'm standing on business and on this belief system that I have. Right? And with more information, it's gonna change, right? But also to move, take action, and live it out. Right? But on that worksheet, right, an example of TBD in action. Wait, is someone writing this down? Do you need that? Okay, I'll put it up here real quick. And if you reach out to me, I can send this to you as well too, right? So if you message me, email me, you can text me, it goes to my back phone, I'm hopping here. I can send that information to you, right? And you'll have my card as well. I'm gonna give you my card. I'll have a QR code. You can scan that. You can connect me. I am a community leader in this space, so it's fine. And again, you don't have to be part of the Edison Tech Network to benefit. Like, you now know who I am. we're connected now because you're part of this program. I'm an advisor of this program, so I'm on the board. Yeah.
You was talking about Edison, Marquand.
Yeah.
I'm actually one of the coaches at
Oh, word? So
Wait,
I'll see
word?
you. I'll see you then. You'll see me again? Okay. Yeah. That's all right. And sometimes it's important too, it's not your program, right? But you're helping a friend, right? Right. It's important to know that, and again, I'm helping a friend. Gerald Moore, while I'm president and founder of the Essex Alumni Association, we're also friends, right? And so, sometimes you discover your dream by helping others discover theirs. So this gentleman over here, I'm sorry, say your name, sir?
Nicholas Reeves.
Nicholas Reeves? Is your dad James Reeves? Okay, but you know who that is? Okay, James Reeves, he's an administrator out, I think in Greece somewhere. I think he got a new job, but he's also an Edison alumni as well, too. He's also a coach, he did basketball as well. He helped win a bunch of blue chips for Edison Tech back in the 90s with him and another gentleman of mine, Ashton Jackson. So, this is R-E-A-D-E-S? Yeah. More like a tall, black dude, dark skin guy. But sometimes you also discover your dream by helping others discover theirs. That's why it's important within your network. If you got friends that need support, help them. Right? Because you might also start to develop a skill set within yourself. Every opportunity begets another opportunity, right? I'm gonna move on just for sake of time. I have a lot of time, but who needs more time on this? All right. And so as you're writing that down, right, you're gonna also take a moment too to also think about your own mantra, right? What does trust, believe, know, and do mean to you? So for number one, what does each pillar mean to you? And again, it doesn't necessarily have to be this that you mind, or you could write this down, that's fine too, where it says trust, believe, know, and do on the 3 line, you could do that too. This is more or less a note catcher, right? This is not a graded assignment, this is for your benefit. I'm not going to even look at it. This is for you to reflect on, to think about it, to shape, to mold, to inhabit, right? To take it all in, to digest, right?
So you want us to like tell your news?
Yeah, for yourself. For yourself. You don't necessarily have to share them out right now. We're taking a moment right now to look at number one. Trust, believe, know, and do. What does each pillar of TBKD mean to you? So based on this example here that I wrote, what does it mean to you? What do you mean trust? You can put down verbatim what I wrote, or you can make your own. As time progresses though, you will expound on it. Yes, sir.
That's off the top of the question. But besides your kids, right? God alone just says your biggest motivation. It's a good question of life.
My biggest motivation outside of my wife, my kids, and God is legacy building, right? And that looks different in every aspect. Right? When I say legacy, that looks different with my kids, right? But I just grew up in foster care, right? Like I knew who my dad was. I knew that he's in Trinidad right now, right? It is what it is.
Wait, Trinidad.
Drinking Trinidad. My mom is from Mobay. My dad is from Port of Spain, Trinidad. My birth mom came to my wedding when I got married. So I had 2 son-mother dances with my mom, my adopted mom, and then my biological mother also came to the floor after my mom, my adopted mom. She invited my biological mother to the floor. We danced too. She was all crying. She was, you're embarrassed me. Please come up. But legacy, right? For me, it's legacy building. Right now, this is legacy building, right? Because after I leave here, you're gonna remember, hopefully, that this black guy named Mr. French came and spoke with him. And I can't remember what everything he said. He's saying wild stuff, but I do remember this one thing, TBKD. And I don't remember what that means. It's like trust and believe, know and do, but that's all I remember, or maybe not. This dude came in and he was talking about purpose and legacy and how he was broken 1462 and something. You're gonna glean something from that, right? This kid walked in like Malcolm X. I didn't know who he was, like this guy, right? But, right. So whatever you take from this presentation, that's legacy. And it's also thinking about again, moving with intentionality. How people perceive you. What image are you going to present? Right? How are you going to inhabit that image that you're presenting? It's not just the thing that you're presenting, it's how you show up in all spaces. And is it consistent? How I show up at home is how I show up Right? How I'm talking to you right now is how I talk to my kids. And I'm most certain that my kids don't understand half the things I say to them. My son's 5. I'm sure he doesn't understand what I'm saying. But if he's nodding their head, I asked my 10-year-old kid, I said, Carrot, do you understand what I'm saying to you? No, Dad. I said, bro, say that, man. Like, I can change what I'm saying. Right? I don't want to say dumb it down, but because all you'll hear is dumb. Right? So I don't say dumb it down. I said I can rephrase what I'm saying. Right? But it's important though, right, to be consistent in how you show up, in the perception that you're creating for yourself. Right? And then you'll start becoming good. And it's not manipulating, right? But it's about being intentional with the image that you create. Right? With the image that you create. So we're going to move on. We do have some time, but we're going to move on because we have another activity I want y'all to do to get y'all up and moving. I promise you that y'all will be moving. So again, what allowed me to be able to be in these spaces and to move with intentionality because I believe that I had more to offer. I wasn't just this 12-year-old kid, right? I wasn't just a 6-year-old kid that did a third-degree burglary charge. I did a lot of dumb stuff. That was just one thing I got caught for. When I came to this office, right, I was already a New York State certified teacher, so I really wasn't worried too much about, my background test. My background check come back, but like I forgot the dumb stuff I did, man. It was like a case file this high with just like 10 cases, and I had to speak about how I changed my life and what I did to do things differently. What are some safeguards? How I changed, whatever, And so it did kind of hit me a little bit, like, dang, man. I felt in that moment I kind of felt low, right? But I reminded myself that whenever you're trying to level up in life, and you'll understand this, you'll probably see this as you continue to move, and you probably are reminded this even when you go home. That there's always a person, or a system, or something that tries to remind you of who you were when they had the most power over you. But there's always something or someone that likes to remind you who you were when they had the most power over you. What do I mean by that? Like, for instance, I remember one time, right, when I first started working in Pittsburgh. Again, schools are 10 out of 10. This is where white folks drive Corvettes like it's a Honda Accord, right? Like this is Maseratis, Ferraris, I see it all the time. My insurance bill for my car is like sky high, and all I do is drive a Camry. Because here I am now paying for someone else's luxury, right? Paying for someone else's privilege. And me and my insurance company always have words. I'm like, why is my insurance going, well, you live in this your zip code you live in, and what, so I'm paying for other people's luxury? I'm paying for other people's privilege. So they can go, oh, they paid you. No, you know what I'm talking about. Why do I gotta pay high insurance because they want to buy a Maserati? That's not my fault. That's them. But regardless of the fact, there I am, I started this job. My mom, my adopted mom, right, in her own trauma, says to me, you ain't did nothing. All you did is we didn't get a job and go work. Who's gonna need you? Don't nobody need you. Why would my mom say that to me for? Right? Who's gonna need you? Don't nobody need you. You ain't good for nothing. You ain't got no purpose. Tell myself, call me if you need you. Don't nobody need you. All you did was when you got a job to go work. That's all you did. So there's always someone or something that tries to minimize you, that always tries to minimize your purpose, and try to dim your light. And that's when you have to really be in your grit. That's why it's important to stand 10 toes down, to know who you are, to trust that you have more to offer, to believe in your voice, right? To know yourself. To know yourself. Say know yourself. Someone say know yourself.
Know yourself.
It's important to know yourself. Because again, people like to remind you who you were when you had the most power of you. Yeah, I was that young, dumb kid at 16, 17, 18 years old. You want to hear something real right now? Let me be real with you. In my senior high school, April 17, 2001, I didn't even graduate Edison Tech, fam. 2 months before graduation, I was locked up in the Monroe County Jail. I had to get my GED in jail, bro. And that's why it's important that as the Alumni Association founder and president, I always say, if you attended Edison Tech even after a year, you're considered an alumni. Because there's varying degrees of reasons to why you didn't finish at high school, or why you didn't finish at school, right? We had some people that went to war, right? In the early 40s, World War II. I got students from 47. I got students that fought in the 60s and 70s in the Vietnam War, who had to get drafted into the war, and they never finished high school. Should they also not be considered alumni? But there I was in the Monroe County Jail getting my GED. And again, man, you gotta be very careful about what you say. Because there I was in 7th grade as a high honor roll student. I was a high honor roll student at Douglas, over there on Fernwood. I got by Boston Line over there, off Clifford, on the side street, right? I was in Blue House, well, 8th grade, but I was part of this program called the Liberty Partnership Program that I think still exists, right? And I remember the time who I'm still connected with today, his name is Bertram Gammery. He's also Trinidad, right? So we had that connection. And he said to me one day, randomly, I'm at RIT on a class trip, he goes, French, what do you think about the GED program? And I was like, what is a GED program? And he goes, oh, it's a general education degree where students, for whatever reason, can't finish high school or they drop out and they get this diploma so that they can continue their life, right? I don't think he said that part. I think I just added that part. You just now, that's my understanding now as an adult educator. But it's a way for students to move on, whatever, without finishing high school because they dropped out. All I heard was drop out. Right now, I latched onto that, and here I am eating on a college tour. I probably was eating like pizza or like hamburgers, but that thing might as well have been crow, right? Because in my ignorance, in my stupidity, right, I said, oh, this, I remember Scarface. That program's dumb. I don't know why people don't just stay in school. They're stupid, the program's stupid, and I proceeded to eat my food like I was like the bee's knees, like I was cute. You know what I mean? Not to curse, excuse me, I'm professional here, right? But like, cause I was a high honor roll student. I was a high honor roll student. You wasn't telling me nothing, right? I don't care. They should stay in school. That's dumb, right? That's dumb. I couldn't see beyond my own current situation, and here I am now, 5-6 years later, getting my GED. Yeah. And when I was in jail, I thought about that, and I continue to think about that because I have journals that I wrote when I was in jail. Right? I still have them. They're actually in my office. I should have brought them today. I'm a person because again, I lied a lot. They usually say scratch a lie, find a thief. Right? Those two things go hand in hand, and I've done both. Like I told you, third degree charge. I've done a lie and a stole. Right? And so I'm always wanting to show proof. Like, yo, look, see, French, I believe you. I know I lied a lot. So this is a charge. This part I need to see it because at the end of the day, too, I'm not just telling you, but I'm showing you. Right? I'm showing you, and it's important to show and prove as much as possible. Because that's also how you instill trust and faith. Right? And people can instill their trust and faith in you. Because there will be some days where I'm not going to have the chamber of proof, but I just need you to really believe me. I'm going to need you to establish, I'm trying to, trust is important. And we're going to be talking about that, because that's part of the TBKD. Right? But then when fast forward, when I became a substitute teacher, again, the advocacy of the public defender's office allowed me to spiral out those situations. Fast forward, I cut my teeth in New York City as a substitute teacher. And fate would have it that the first class that I taught as a substitute teacher, going back and around Brooklyn, from Sunset all the way to East New York, to Bed-Stuy, do or die Bed-Stuy, to East Flatbush, was the GED program, right? And I sat there and I said, hey, I don't have a lesson plan, but I want to tell you about myself. I think it's important that whenever you inhabit a space and place or time, that they know something about you. So I can see to tell that story about the GED, about how I thought it was stupid and dumb, and I'm laying on a thing. I think the program was dumb, and there's this one kid in the front. He was looking, just kind of sitting like how you were, and he was looking a little froggy, so he was sitting like this with his like, I ain't gonna be too many dumbs in a minute. I'm like, yeah, the program was dumb, the people in it were dumb. I don't know why y'all don't stay in school. It's dumb, just stay in school, right? But I said, check this out. And I kept an eye on him because I didn't want him to like get too froggy on me, you know what I mean, and stall off on me. So I reached in real quick, and I said, check this out. And I give him my GED like that. And I'm watching him, and I look back, and he goes, oh, this motherfucker got a GED. I said, hey, brother, whoa. I said, my bad, I'm sorry. Can't be out here just spraying me cursing like that. I said, but like he said, this got a GED, right? And I proceeded to tell them. Right? I proceeded to share with them. I proceeded to talk with them about purpose. And understand that every choice you make today, the fact that you showed up here today in this GED course, right, is that step forward. Right? It's you betting on yourself. Even right now, your choice, whether it's your choice or not, Right? Maybe your parents say, well, you're gonna do this. I don't want to do this. I want to stay home and play my game. I want to go to this basketball game. I want to do something different beyond this mission to field thing. Right? I didn't want to go to Edison. I wanted to go to Wilson to see about a girl. Yeah, I wanted to go to Wilson High School to see about a girl. Right? Her name was Martisha Kelly. That's how I wanted to go see her. I wanted her to be my girlfriend. So she was an 8th grade student at the house with me. Huh? We were 8th grade students and she was a 9th grader. And I wanted to go to Wilson. Huh? She's still bad. Right? My wife is bad. My wife is bad. I got a Caribbean girl, man. Real talk, that can see alive. You know what I'm saying? I'm adopted, so I'm pretty sure. But not truly. But because, right? I get it. But check it though, right? About legacy is important. My mom says, I don't care where you want to go. Wilson is west side, we're east side. And I'm like, well, Edison's kind of like far west side, right? Yeah, see, it don't matter. And my mom probably like slapping me, so like, don't talk that to me. You're gonna go to Edison, you're gonna like it, love it. Your dad taught at Edison, when it was on Clifford Avenue. Your brother and sister go to Edison, right? Your dad taught at the new Colfax location where it's at now. That's where you're gonna go. That's where you're gonna go. At the time, again, I didn't want to go. I didn't want to go. But how have I benefited from Edison? Right? I'm able to create a legacy. Right? Leading into that legacy of Edison Tech, I have a cross section of alumni from 68 actually, all the way to about 1983, who knew my dad. My dad worked as a teacher. Right? And when I say to them that I'm Mr. French, and I say to them, what year did you graduate? And they're like, oh, from 73, or 76, or 78, or like 1980. I'm like, oh, do you know my dad, Arnold French, or Mr. French? What? Do I know your dad? What's your voice, huh? No, of course I know your dad. And sometimes with eyes full of water and tears, they're like, yo, your dad saved my life, bro. Anything you need, you let me know. Right? And again, that's that legacy that you leave. It's not what you leave behind, but what you leave in people. Who was my dad that caused this person, this grown man who would be my dad? This dude was 60 years old, and he's in tears looking at me, talking about anything you need, young man, you let me know. Who was my dad? He taught football, he taught chess club, he taught math, he did all these things. Huh? Right. So like now I'm walking in that legacy now. I'm benefiting from my dad's work, and I ain't even did that. I just showed up. Right? You're probably hearing yourselves too. Oh, you look like your dad, or sometimes it's good and bad, right? You look just like your dad. You know, you probably know good too. And that's when you need to believe in yourself and remember your purpose. But sometimes it's like, yo, your dad put up numbers on the board. Let us know how we can help. Right? When anything you need, your dad looked out for you back in the day. Anything you need, you let us know. Right? And even if that legacy is not a good legacy, now is the time to change that or to build on that. Right? And that's why it's important to know yourself, right? To know yourself, right? To know your history, to study your history, to study all the history. Although, right now, adorned on this building is John Lewis. You know who John Lewis is? If I show up here, I know who you know, Cohen, but anyone else knows who John Lewis is. Right? John Lewis walked with Dr. King. Who's Dr. King? You know who MLK is? Please tell me who. All right. That's like a go-to phrase. Man, I walk with Dr. King. That's supposed to like immediately elevate you to this higher echelon, right, of status in the black community. If you walk with Dr. King, excuse me, Lord, it's almost like you walk with Jesus. Like, I was one of Jesus' disciples. Okay, cool. I was one of Martin Luther King's acolytes. I walk with Dr. King. Word. So you're gonna listen to when I speak. And that's the title of that poster outside the mural. I think it's I'm talking or let me speak, something like that. Right? Advocating for his own voice to be heard. Right? And that should also instill in you, right, to be able to walk in your community and your calling. To advocate. Right? To identify those things that you struggle with and help change your current situation for the betterment of yourself and the people that look like you. And those that don't. Right? Because at the end of the day, we're all the same. We're all in the same community. We're all doing the same work. We're trying to make good on the promises that came before us, or the promises that we made. to ourselves and to our parents and to our loved ones. Right? So real quick, I'm going to pass out some you have a pen in front of you. You can go ahead and share those amongst yourself. You need 4 of those. You're going to need 4 of those. On the top, you're going to need four pieces of paper. So on the pad I just gave you, you need 4 pieces of paper. Right? And you're going to take a moment. You're going to take a sticky note. Right? And you're going to, one of the sticky notes are going to say do. One's going to say no. One's going to say believe at the top. And one's going to say trust. So trust, believe, know, and do. Right? You're going to take 4 different. You all need 4. Yeah. You all need 4. Right?
I mean, no.
So one of it's going to, so at the top of each of them, it's going to say no. One's going to say trust. One's going to say believe. One's going to say trust. And one's going to say do.
Yes, sir. Everyone gets 4, so everyone get 4 pieces of paper. And on each paper have trust, believe, know, and do. Okay, so everyone's got 4.
So again, trust, believe, know, and do. You're gonna have 4 sheets. I like how you got them spread out so you can see them. That's great. Yeah. You like put in one line, 4 people spread out, like me. Just like how I have it here, right? And under trust and believe, know, and do, you're gonna write, right? What does each mean to you? What does trust mean to you? What does under believe? What does believe mean to you? What does know mean to you? What does do mean to you? When you are done, I want you to go ahead and put all your trust stuff here. Right? So as you see about 16 to 20 pieces of paper that says trust in right here. As you see believe, all here. All your believe post-it notes go here. All your know post-it notes go here. All your do post-it notes go here. And again, what does each of those mean to you? You're going to post each under the right section. And then we're going to do a quick analysis on that and what patterns that we see. Again, this should be your own words. Right? Your own words. This is a quick snapshot. You don't need to necessarily write like a whole paragraph or a book. Young King. Or what's up, brother? Ask a sign. What must I
Amen.
What does trust, believe, know, and do mean to you?
Okay, I'm gonna let you write.
What does trust, believe, know, and do mean to you? It can be one word, it can be a sentence, it can be a phrase. Right? When you're done, you can go ahead and stand up and put all your trust things here, your believe things here, your know things here, and all your do things here.
Put my trust, know, and believe together.
We got about 10 more minutes, so you guys have 3 more minutes, and then we'll share out for the next 5, and then we'll be done. Word. Big bird. While you're doing that, I'm also going to pass out to you some other information. Again, I work in the public defender's office. One of the things we do is know your rights. We also do internships. So even if you don't want to become a lawyer, I encourage you to come down and see what we do. You can come in over the summertime for a shadow opportunity where you can go to court, shadow an attorney, learn what we do, ask questions, right? That then can lead into, if you're still in school, that can then be part of a program that we've established called Defenders of Tomorrow, where it leads into a full-fledged internship where you can intern over the summertime. You can actually get paid through Rochester Works. And who's in charge of Rochester Works? A guy named Antoine Williams. And who's Antoine Williams? He's an Edison Tech alumni. You see how I'm using my network? It's a great opportunity for young people, right? So there you go. So I encourage you all to take full advantage of that. But I'm also going to pass out to you your rights on the 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendment rights. I I need y'all to keep this someplace safe in your house, in your bedroom, and make sure you look at that. At the end of the day, as young black boys rolling through the city, if a police officer stops you and asks you questions about something, and it sounds like you about to be interrogated, yo, you cannot outslick a can of oil. Alright? Close your mouth and ask for your attorney. Do you understand? Guilty or not, don't say nothing. Say, I want my attorney. Don't, do I think I need an attorney? I think I might need an attorney. No, I want my attorney. I want my lawyer. That's it. Right? If y'all ever watched that movie, this is When They See Us, right? About the Central Park 5. Where was the parents at in those interrogations? Where was the lawyer? They're shooting, right? That should never have happened. That was a miscarriage of justice. But I'm telling you, police officers' investigations can lie. They can lie. I watch everything you can think about. I see it all. I see interrogation videos. I see it all. Keep your mouth closed. Use your Fifth Amendment right. All right? So I'm going to hand this out to you. I'm also going to give you a rubber band that says, I want a lawyer as a reminder. Okay? So please be mindful, protect your rights, and use your rights. All right? You have died for these rights. There you go. When you're done with your sheet, go ahead and hang them up on the board. We'll do a quick share out. Yes. Oh, nice. Where do they hold the class at now? MCC still? Oh, okay. Well, let me know. Let me know. If I can get my kind of information. All right, again, you can go ahead and get up and then quickly have a seat so we can share out, and then we'll move on. We're almost done, gentlemen. So I'm coming around, I'm giving you out one of these silicone bands. No, that's yours. I gave you two, one to keep, one to share. So please make sure you can explain to you, what it means so that when you give it to someone, they'll know. It's like, oh, okay. Right? So on it, it says the phrase, I want a lawyer. Right? One to keep, one to share. Right? On it, it also says MCPDO. What does that mean? What does MCPDO mean? What does What does MCPDO stand for? I ran out of space when I spelled it out. It stands for Monroe County Public Defender's Office. Right? I want an attorney. I want my lawyer. Right? I'm giving you two, one to keep, one to share. I also gave you a paper that has your 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendment rights. If you don't know what those are, please utilize that sheet and familiarize yourself. It's very, very important.
I want a lawyer.
I'm gonna leave you alone. I might need you that because, you think you're smart now?
Leave me alone.
I'm gonna need one of them too. Reminders.
Myself included. Myself included.
Don't say you want a lawyer.
I want my lawyer. And by law, they have to stop questioning her. They'll probably still won't question you. But you plead the fifth, your mouth is closed, you say nothing, and all you, how many did you get? 2? Did you get 2? Did you get 2? Did I give you 2? Did I give you 2? Who did you get 2?
Right here.
Oh, no, you didn't.
Everybody gets it.
I want a lawyer.
Right? Or share them all, whatever. Right? But it's important, again, gentlemen, I'm telling you, listen, I see shots fired, I see everything, bro. It's cool. More I see it all. And I see young black boys, right, getting jammed up. Right, getting jammed up. They want not to kind of perpetuate this fear, whatever, but they would love nothing more than to get you jammed up. Right? I see it all the time. Right? I had former students of mine come through. By the grace of God, I was able to get one of the students off on gun charge. A 19-year-old kid riding around in a car with his friends that were like 17, 15, and 14. Gladly, the car wasn't stolen, but there was a gun in the car. The guy that was driving it with a permit, right? It belonged to his uncle. So thank God for that. But because he did a turn off of Agnes Street on Hudson Avenue without his turn signal, the cop pulled him over. right? That's called a pretextual stop. A pretextual stop are things like that where your license plate's hanging off. You got things hanging from your rearview mirror. Like you're not supposed to have anything hanging from your rearview mirror. Not even one of those little innocent Christmas tree things. Nothing. Nothing. If the cop really wanted to pull you over, they could. I know my car got the lanyard hanging out, I got little rosary beads hanging. Like I've since taken those things down, but they can pull you over if they want to. Or your tail lights out. They did that a lot in the 60s and 70s to stop young black boys and people were driving. Or they'll purposely come up and then like use their thing to spread out the light. I stopped you because your light was out. You just did that. Oh well. And then use that to get in.
And then turn the body cam off.
Whatever. Right? So again, if you find yourself in those spaces, please plead the fifth. Hold your mouth. You're not doing it outside the can of oil. They've been doing it for years. They're professionals. They get training on this all the time. They say, I want my attorney, I want my lawyer. Now, I think I might need a lawyer, bro. Nah. No, at one stage, there's nothing you can say that's going to have them take you out of custody. All right? I promise you. Please listen to what I'm saying to you, bro. All right? Allow your attorney, whether it's a public defender or a private attorney, whoever it is, to be able to do their job to advocate for you. This is what you pay them for. This is what we do with taxpayer dollars. All right? Whether you're privately paying or they're being paid through tax dollars, let us do our job. All right? I promise you, bro. And because they wasn't saying nothing, right, they ended up charging all 4 of those kids with that gun charge. My 19-year-old students and 3 other students that I didn't even know. They went over to legal aid, and my office took care of my former student who's 19 years old. Already considered a violent felony. Again, that's that perception though, right? How do they perceive you? How you show up in spaces, your skin color, even myself, in all my suits and whatnot. All they see is this young black, oh, he think he up here. I don't know. They don't even have being in Pittsburgh. I'm not saying they're all racist out there, right? We have racism everywhere. Right? We have bias in all spaces, even amongst ourselves. Right? This whole concept of this YN business, right? Like that's the perception within our own community. Oh, you just one of them YNs, right? Really? That's how you perceive me? We gotta be very careful how we name ourselves. And also be careful how we inhabit the name. Like we should not be calling ourselves those things. Like I get it, but like when you know better, you do better. Yo.
I got a teacher, he always said, my art teacher named Mr. Robinson, he get from the community a lot, sell houses and stuff. He said, when you go outside, you're going outside with 2 strikes ahead of you already.
Say more about that, what do you mean?
Like, as a young black man, you know, it's kind of hard. I mean, it's easing up, but it's like, it's still like real rough out here for us, you know? Because, you know, with trends and all these things that's going on, it's putting us at a spot where we're already looked at differently than everybody else. So that's how I think about it. You already outside with 2 strikes, so you make the dumb decision to get that third by doing one simple thing you could do differently. Going with that person that you knew was bad at one time, and one decision really ruined your whole life. And a lot of people realize that when it's happening. So I feel like once you understand that and just, you know, go according to how you understand the word is going and what can happen, everything will be much better. You know, everybody think they're higher than everybody else, so they don't really care about these things that's actually reality. So I'm like, I understand that.
I'm not even gonna expound on what you just said, what you said, Stan, bro. That's deep, and I appreciate you sharing that. And I hope that y'all heard that, right? It's important, like, you don't gotta be in 43 to speak wisdom. I just told you out of the mouth of babes, my 5-year-old kid, be schooling me, right? Or be sharing me his perspective. Like, you know what? I understand that much more better. And he's 5. Make sure you pay attention to Carson. I never watch my kids. I don't want CPS showing up at my house, but why is he saying that? Why is he self-advocating? Why is he saying that? Right? It's important to listen to each other too. So, thank you for that. Right? I'm gonna quickly kind of share out some things. Forgive me if I don't get a chance to like read them all, because we only have 2 minutes, and I want to be true to my promise of getting out in time. But for trust, it says having your back. Right? Trust means to believe that your goal and plan will go right, or to trust and believe someone. Right? Looking at hope in an ideal. Right? It says idea, but ideal. Nothing is more powerful than an idea whose time has come. That's by Victor Hugo. Nothing is more powerful than an idea whose time has come. Right? It's important to believe in an ideal, right? Because as you start to believe in an ideal, it starts to rewrite you. You become more. That's something I picked up from Batman, right? When Bruce Wayne became Batman, right? He said that he believed in an ideal, and he became more than just Bruce Wayne, right? So it's important to really learn and glean from everything. Anything that you ingest, learn from. There's a lesson, there's a value in everything that you take in, right? Good or bad, right? No, it says, know that you could, know that, sorry, who wrote this? Who wrote this? I just can't read myself, I'm sorry. Who wrote this? Did you wrote that? You want to read that then? What does that say? I'm teaching power. I'm usually good at this kind. Who wrote this? Who did? I'm going to pick another one. I apologize. I'm sorry. That's fine. Know your flaws and work around them. Right? Know your flaws and work around them. And know your strengths. Lean into your strengths. Do everything. Right? Take action. To move and take action, right? It's important to move and take action, right? Knowing and doing are two different things. You can know all day, but if you know better, you what? See what he said? See, all these things you already know. You just haven't applied it. Application is understanding. You might know how to use a screwdriver, but to understand how to use it means that you can flip it over and use it to hammer it, right? Because you understand the principles of that, right? You understand how to actually do it. We all know how to use a screwdriver, but to really understand it is to be able to use it beyond its original purpose. And so you have to find value in everything you're doing, right? Don't just know, but do. Trust and believe, know and do. Let me hear it. Trust and believe.
Trust and believe.
Know and do.
Know and do.
I think we've reached the conclusion. Let me just see. I think I have more slides here real quick, like 2 more slides. Again, we've done this already, right? Lastly, again, why does trust come first in this whole thing? Why does trust come first? And this is the last thing I ask you. Why in this whole mantra does trust come first?
Because to do anything, you have to have trust in it.
Anyone else? Say that, I can't hear the hum. What?
Gotta build a strong bond with each other.
Sure, bond with each other. You got to trust and believe in it. What else? One more. Anyone else? Why does trust come first? Reliability? I understand. Thank you so much for your time, gentlemen. Again, I'm going to pass my card to you. Please, if you have your cell phone, scan it.
Special thank you to one of our own, Mr. Vincent French. You guys know who he is. I hope that you guys had a great time. And we're going to ask